please welcome Joshua Hildebrand.
So it's 2011, December, and me and my family go on a family holiday to Zimbabwe and South Africa. My parents grew up there, and I have many cousins that still live there. So as part of this trip, our family holiday, we decided to go to a rather large dam that goes by the name of Lake Kariba. It's the largest man-made body of water, I believe, that exists at all. It's about 10,000 square kilometres of water, and it's this huge lake. You're in the middle, and you cannot see the edge. It feels like you're in the ocean, but it is a dam. We're on what we call a houseboat. It's really just a very large boat with about 30 people on it, all family and friends. I'm about 14 at this stage, and the majority of the adults there are just drinking. From 8 o'clock in the morning till whenever they fall asleep, it is just alcohol. The evening rolls around. It's probably it's just after dinner. We're sitting there as the sun is setting, looking out over this Lake Kariba. And as Australians, we're sitting there watching this storm on the horizon. And we're like, that is a lovely looking storm. Massive bolts of lightning rippling through the sky. You can hear the thunder. And a lot of these adults, quite inebriated, go, yeah, that's a storm. So we prepare for the storm by putting down all the shade sails on the side of the boat so that if it does rain, it's not going to blow in where we're sleeping on the top deck. And as we view this storm coming in, oh, it's a big storm, we should do something about that. But no, we all stand around watching. Finally, the storm hits us. We're in a little alcove of water. The lake that we're on is well known for these trees. They're dead trees that, as the water level has dropped, have come up out of the lake. The storm comes through, and the wind picks up our shade sails and uses them as real sails, and blows our boat that is anchored down out of its anchor. This boat is just moving along, but no one is the wiser. As I said, most of them are quite inebriated. They don't notice the boat moving. I was telling people, the boat is moving, but no one believed me because I was a 14-year-old child. It wasn't until my dad walked down the stairs from where he was and went, oh yes, the boat is moving, as the back of the boat crushes several trees. At this stage, the trees, our boat starts hitting these dead trees, and it sounds, it's a terrifying sound, hitting a wooden hollow tree as it shatters against the hull of the boat. Everyone is panicking. No one knows what to do. The servants who man the boat, they have been up until this point asleep, but are awoken by the screams of terror of, again, many inebriated people. It is very dark. It is pitch black. There are no lights. The captain goes up to the controls of the boat to try and steer it. As we put down the shade sails, he cannot see where he is going. We know we're moving. The life rafts that we have, they're really just tinnies, have been off the back of the boat. But as they went, they got crushed underneath the boat. They got dragged underneath as they got crushed up by trees that we were hitting. So it is a very terrifying experience. Eventually, the captain just decides that he would rather not die, so he just puts the power of the engines all the way on and rams the boat aground. So we are stopped, we're not moving. However, we know that we are in trouble because we've been hitting trees for what felt like an eternity, but was really no more than 5 minutes. We realise that we may be in trouble, so we are trying to signal to another houseboat that we can see that we need help because we don't know what damage has been done to the boat. As we are doing this, we can hear lions roaring in the distance. So a fun little fact about lions is that their roar, they have the strongest roar of basically all the big game animals. And you can hear their roar up to 5 miles away. And it feels as if they are right there. So I vividly remember this lion roaring, and we were trying to signal this other boat. We had contacted them on the radio eventually, and they said, we thought you were signaling that the lion was there. And that is why we drove off. So we're grounded, we're safe for the night, everyone goes to sleep, all very on edge from our 5 minutes of terror. We wake up the next day and realize that this houseboat is stuck. The captain has done a very good job of making sure that we are not going to blow away in the rest of the storm. So, another fun fact about Kariba is that it has a very large crocodile population. So, I think it's 10,000 square kilometers of water. There are 10,000 crocodiles that also live in this lake. However, they all live on the outside, on the banks. They don't live in the middle. So there is a huge number of crocodiles. We cannot get out of where we are without all of the men jumping in and levering the boat off of the bank. So there probably would have been about 15 guys that all had to get up out of the boat while all the children were standing there with torches looking into the water, looking for eyes at whatever time in the morning was high tide, because that was our best chance of getting off where we were. And so that was another 10 minutes of terror as my dad, my uncles, everyone that I knew was standing there. We didn't know if they were going to get eaten by crocodiles. All in all, everyone was safe. But that was my terror in December 2010 and January of 2011. And I distinctly remember being like, no one else will have had a worse December and January than me. I was quite excited to tell this story at school. And as we were flying back in to Brisbane Airport, pointing out the window, my sister goes, oh look, there's the Brisbane River. My dad said, no, that is the middle of Brisbane. That's not where the Brisbane River is. As we were flying in, a few days prior, the Brisbane floods had come through. And my story was not the worst.